And now let's start with Illinois. Illinois coming off a really good season last year, 10 wins with the bowl game, beating South Carolina in the Cheez It Bowl 21-17. Oh, that hurt. It stung. But we move forward. They went 9-3, 6-3 in conference. They returned 16 starters, 9 on offense, 7 on defense, which is the most in the Big Ten in terms of returners and period. They returned Luke Altmaier, which is pretty big. He's a quarterback, 211 to 347, 60.8% completion percentage, 2,717 yards, 22 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, which is huge. The number of interceptions he threw, didn't throw a ton. Now, what I will say is that Penn State game, man, that was a bad showing. But Penn State was in the lead defense, so I'll give them a little grace on that. He also had 217 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. They returned Tanner Arkin, tight end, 16 catches, 111 yards, and 3 touchdowns. This is crazy. They returned both Xavier and Miles Scott in that secondary. That is crazy. They're starting to. They might have the secondary they had like a couple years ago with Witherspoon and um, Sidney Brown and those guys like that. That secondary like that. I don't know if they're gonna have the law firm like they did, but that secondary is looking to be really good with Scott. The Scott brothers coming back. Matthew Bailey's coming back at safety. Gabe Jockus at linebackers returning, and Dylan Rosiak at linebackers returning. Now they do lose Pat Bryant at wide receiver, who had 54 catches, 984 yards, and 10 touchdowns. He's gone to the Broncos. My guy, Zachary Franklin, who he had a pretty solid season last year. Didn't do what I expected coming out of UTSA. He had 55 catches, 652 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And they lost Josh McCray, the running back, 117 carries, 609 yards, 5.2 a carry, 10 touchdowns. He's now at Georgia. They have the 50th overall recruiting class, 43rd in transfers. Talk to me a little bit about Illinois, Trent.
Yeah, no, you covered a lot of it. I think last year the Illinois team, led by Altmaier, was a pleasant surprise in the Big Ten. You talk about those 3 losses, 2 of them which came to Penn State and Oregon. So you're talking 2 of the top teams in the conference, and the one slip up they had against Minnesota. But we know the nature of the Big Ten, and every game is a tough game. So I really like this Illinois team coming back into this season off of a hot season. As you mentioned, 16 returning starters. Luke Altmaier that we mentioned, Lucas, you mentioned, Scott. That defense is looking really good. And all 5 offensive line starters are coming back as well to protect Altmaier. So really a well-rounded team, a well-coached team in Brett Bielema. You know, I think this is a team that is really destined to have another good season. I know we're going to get into their upcoming schedule here shortly, but it looks like everything that they have is obviously out there in front of them. I don't necessarily think that they are, in contention to win the Big Ten, just with the likeliness of Penn State's and Ohio State's and Oregon's. But this is, a team that could make a lot of noise and, dare I say, maybe a fringe playoff team, but we'll have to let the season kind of roll out and see how it goes. But we'll get into the schedule here. Really excited for what they got going on. Bielema, Altmaier, good coach quarterback duo. We talk about all the returning starters in the Big Ten. And, anytime you can return a team that just went 9-3 and had a good year is a good thing for your program.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to spoil it, but you kind of got my thoughts exactly on maybe a fringe playoff team. But like you said, man, it's hard to be in contention for the Big Ten. Even now, throw in Indiana, who possibly could have played for the Big Ten last year under Signetti. The top 3, like you said. Even Michigan, I mean, they had a down year, but you can never sleep on those guys to making a Big Ten championship appearance, especially when they won 3 in a row prior to last season when Oregon took it over. So it's a tough battle to win the Big Ten. But I 100% agree with you saying you return a 9-win 10, including the bowl game, which is huge. They beat a really good South Carolina team. Nobody really sat out for South Carolina. It was good on good, and they made plays to win the game. So that's a huge experience for them as well. So I'm excited for them. Some transfers I want to talk about is Hudson Clement, the wide receiver from West Virginia, 51 catches, 741 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's a nice pickup for them, a guy I feel like that can work the intermediate, the short. I want to talk about Justin Bowick, another solid receiver from Ball State, 20 catches, 383 yards, and 3 touchdowns. James Thompson Jr., a defensive lineman who in 2023 had 29 total tackles, 19 solos, 3 sacks, and 2 PBUs out of Wisconsin. And Kurt Neal, a D lineman from Wisconsin, who had half a sack, 29 total tackles, 14 solos. Last year they were 92nd in total offense, 68th in total defense, 86th in passing, 79th in rushing, tied 64th in scoring offense, 78th in passing defense, 65th in rushing defense, and 31st in scoring defense. If you're ready, Trent, we can go over the schedule.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's get into it.
All right, cool. So their first game of the season, Western Illinois, I have as a win.
I also have that as a win.
Second game of the season at Duke. Two really, I feel like programs that kind of mirror each other of recent play. They're at Duke. I have this as a win though.
Yeah, I agree. This is actually one of those games I got excited about just doing the research for this. I think this is one of those games that college football fans will enjoy. I agree with your comment as far as mirroring each other. I'm actually going to give this one to Duke. I'm a Manny Diaz guy. I like what they got going on. I like what they got going on over there in the ACC. It's on the road, so I think it's going to be a testament to this Illinois team early, but I'm going to have to give the slight edge to Duke.
Yeah, see, I love everything you said too, because I'm a Manny Diaz. I like what Manny Diaz has done in Duke, especially keeping that defensive identity. Manny Diaz being the defense coordinator. I know that's your guy. Penn State came from Penn State as a D coordinator, so I get it. But I feel like what Illinois brings back, as opposed to Duke having a new quarterback and things like that, I think that gives them the edge, even though, like you said, it is on the road. Next, we'll go to Western Michigan, where I have as a win.
I also have this as a win.
Now, start Big Ten play. I have at Indiana a loss. I'm sorry. I'm so big on Signetti.
I also have this as a loss, unfortunately. I think that's another tough game on the road to start the season. But I'm going to give the slight edge to Indiana based off of what they did last year.
Yep, and then I have them bouncing back against USC as a win.
I also have them beating USC.
All right, at Purdue, I have as a win.
I have a win as well.
Ohio State, I have as a loss.
I also have as a loss.
Then I have them winning out at Washington, at home against Rutgers, at home against Maryland, at Wisconsin, and at home against Northwestern. All wins.
We are in agreement. I do have them dropping a game on the road against Wisconsin.
That's fine, because I was definitely thinking about that on the road. Wisconsin's a tough environment to play. Familiarity of the Big Ten, familiarity of play, to be honest. But I just think with the question mark for me at Wisconsin quarterback, which we'll talk about later, I gave the edge to Illinois. So I have Illinois going 10-2, 7-2, and the over win total of 8.5.
Yeah, and it looks like we're basically in agreement. I'm giving them one more conference loss and then adding that out of conference loss against Duke. So 3 losses overall and 2 in the conference. Okay. Or 3 losses in the conference, rather. I'm sorry, and 4 overall.
Yeah, so you have the under 8.5.
Under 8.5, yep.
Okay. I will say this. That Duke game is definitely sketchy. That one could definitely flip and be a loss. And I agree, Wisconsin could be a loss, being that it's on the road. Rutgers somehow just be winning some crazy games too. So maybe look out for that one. But I'm not mad at the under, but I'm gonna stick with my over.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, I just said about 20 seconds ago that this could be a fringe playoff team. So while I'm giving them 4 losses, the nuance of the Big Ten and the nuance of the season, they have a very favorable schedule in the sense that they got Ohio State at home, they got USC at home. So, anything can happen, but I'm excited for the Big Ten play and the Illinois team for sure. But if the ball rolls the other way and they, get one of those losses, turns into a win, you're talking about maybe a 2 or 1 loss Big Ten record. So anything is possible.
Yeah, and favorable that they don't play Penn State. They don't play Michigan. They don't play Oregon. So, yeah, the best team they play in the Big Ten is like Ohio State. And then after that, you would probably say the best team in the Big Ten, at least in my opinion, would be Indiana.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Which segues into Indiana.